The Houston Rockets are quietly building one of the best young cores in the NBA, with once again the projected #1 overall pick in the draft. Of course, the ping pong balls will decide their fate there, but they have projected #1. They have 17. They have a great young guard duo in Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green, both 23 years old or younger. They also have a solid rookie cast. Of course, Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, who's actually pretty decent this year, Josh Christopher, who showed some signs of potential, and then Usman Garuba, who could be one of the better defenders in the NBA before long. They've got all kinds of potential. Now, Christian Wood could be on the way out. He's probably their best player right now, as well as Dennis Schroeder, who will probably leave in free agency. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Rockets trade Christian Wood, which is actually going to be a later part of the video, so make sure you stick around because we'll be covering all that and more. First off, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe button if you do enjoy it any point, though, as it really helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. Leaving a comment will help as well. Now, looking at their offseason preview, they will have around $7 million in cap space. Obviously, cap stricken by John Wall. Their key free agents are Dennis Schroeder, and they have the projected #1 overall pick and 17. Now, their free agents, Dennis Schroeder. He's one of them, and I'm gonna say let him go. Use the cap elsewhere. The projected cap is about 122 this year, so you could use that cap space elsewhere. I mean, he was decent, but you got two good young guards. You can draft one, obviously in the draft. I'm picking the team option up on Jae'Sean Tate, 1.4 million. That's a steal for him. He's a great young guy for him. Very versatile defender, and he also averages about 12 points per game, 5.4 rebounds on 50% shooting from the field. Now, probably the biggest L that they are going to take this season is when John Wall picks up his player option worth $47.3 million. Luckily, it's the last year of his deal for them. They could be working towards a buyout if, of course, he does pick up his player option. If they can't buy him out, he most likely won't play, but there are a couple of teams interested in his services if the Rockets can find a buyout, so a very good potential buyout candidate there. Now, the NBA draft. The Rockets have the projected #1 overall pick, like I've said a couple of times. So there's a few different ways they could go here. Chet Holmgren, a solid option there at #1, can help protect the rim. Really a unicorn at 7 foot, can do a little bit of everything. Really shoots the 3-ball well. Also, Paolo Banchero, my #2 overall prospect right now. He's also another very solid option. It's really between Chet, Paolo, and then the last guy, Jabari Smith. But Paolo, he could come in, provides an intriguing skill set. You can move on from Christian Wood if you do bring in Paolo. And then my pick, my favorite for the Rockets to get at #1 is Jabari Smith Jr., who really you can move on from just about anybody. Bringing in Jabari Smith Jr., I feel like he will have that big of an impact as a rookie. Really, really high on Jabari Smith Jr. I see a lot of Kevin Durant in him, something that most people don't see. Now, Malachi Branham is a very good option here at 17. There's a few guys that I think they should take. Branham could add another good, very dynamic scoring guard to their rotation. However, he has not declared yet, so we do not know if he will be in the draft or not. Blake Wesley out of Notre Dame is a guy that could come in and give him really, really good backup point guard minutes, maybe even start some games. He was a guy that stepped in as a freshman right away in South Bend this year and played very well for the majority of the year. You also got Kennedy Chandler from Tennessee, another guy, Wesley and Chandler, the two that could be potential backup point guard candidates if, of course, you let Dennis Schroeder walk and John Wall doesn't play. That leaves you with really one point guard on the roster, and Kevin Porter Jr., so you do need to bring in some help there, I feel like. And then Jaden Hardy is the last guy here. The beginning of the year, I actually mocked him to the Rockets at the #2 overall pick. Now he's fell all the way down just due to his inefficiency, but he's already a pro basketball player, so lots of upside there. Averaged 17 a game last year for the G League Ignite. Now, some free agent targets for him. Now, the first guy that I'm going to target if I'm the Phoenix Suns is DeAndre Ayton. He is a restricted free agent, which means you would most likely have to offer him a max contract, but he fits in very well with the timeline of this squad. If you can get John Wall off the books, that easily clears up enough money for him, and offering him a max would put Phoenix in a bit of a pickle financially. DeAndre averaged 17 points a game and 10 rebounds, so that's definitely a guy I feel like that this Rocket squad could go out and make a push for and become, legit contenders immediately with that young core. Now, they do need to keep developing the young core. Jalen Green, a guy who averaged about 17 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per game last year. He got better after his hamstring injury, which was about halfway through the year, and towards the end of the year was really good. Averaged about 22 points a game in the back half of the year. Very efficient. Man, he just dunks on everybody too. Human Skywalker, 20 years old, shot at 42% from the field and 34% from three, which are not bad percentages for a rookie. Now Kevin Porter Jr., the new point guard of this squad, and his playmaking really improved the back half of the year. And the guy that I was actually impressed with, and honestly still don't know how the Rockets stole him away from the Cleveland Cavaliers for basically a bag of potato chips. Averaged 15.6 points per game this year, 4.4 rebounds, 6.2 assists, and 1.1 steals a night. Pretty good stat line from your point guard. And he was only averaging about 12 points per game at the All-Star break. 22 years old, shot at 42% from the field, 38% from three, averaged 3.1 turnovers, so hopefully he can bring those down. But overall, a really good point guard. And I think once John Wall set out for the rest of the year, that really helped him out as well. Josh Christopher, a guy in his rookie year, averaged 7.5 points per game, 2 rebounds, and shot at about 45% from the field. So glimpses, of possibly a future definitely a future rotational player, possibly a future double-figure scorer. Kenyon Martin Jr. averaged about 9 and 5 on 53% shooting from the field, 36% from three. Really good numbers there from KJ Martin. I was actually pretty impressed. Super efficient as well. Usman Garuba in his rookie year only averaged about 10 minutes per game, 2 points, and 3.5 rebounds. So gets a lot of rebounds. Like I said, good defender. That's the best part of his game. Jayshawn Tate, another good defender, even though he's small, very versatile. Averaged about 11.8 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, and shoots at 50% from the field, as we talked about earlier. Hopefully they pick up his team option, which is only $1.4 million. And the last of the rookies here, Alperen Sengun, averaged about 9.6 points per game last year, 5.5 rebounds, and shot at 48% from the field. One of the better distributors as a center, I felt like, coming into the year. Did only average about 3 assists per game, but that's not bad. Now, they do have the G League MVP on their team in Trevelin Queen, is I believe how you pronounce it. MVP of the G League, Finals MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year, averaged 25.3 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 3.3 steals a night. Man just absolutely dominated the G League this year. Now, a couple of trade candidates. One is the old man Eric Gordon. He averaged 13.4 points per game, 2 rebounds, and 2.7 assists last year, still making a relatively big salary. Shooting at 47% from the field, 42% from three, and he is 34. So a veteran team could come in, pick up Eric Gordon, and that allows the Rockets some more freedom and free agency, maybe to pursue a guy like DeAndre Ayton a little harder. Christian Wood is a guy that I feel like will be gone sooner rather than later. Only making $13 million, so he's on a bargain right now. 18 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 1 block a night. Shot at 50% from the field, almost 40% from three, and averaged 2.3 assists. This is a guy that I feel like a team, like maybe the Warriors, could send maybe Kuminga to the Rockets in exchange for Christian Wood. Obviously, they'd have to throw in some more draft compensation, but that's just an idea. There obviously could be a whole bunch of different other ways that Christian Wood leaves, but I do see him as a potential trade candidate this year. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, but with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe button if you did enjoy. And with that being said, like I said, thank you so much for watching today's video.